Hi, my name is Andrena Forrest and I would like to share my story and my journey with you. It's my journey on my awakening, and this has been a gradual process, but this has been a fast track since I came to Australia in 2009. If somebody had said to me a long time ago, you have all the keys inside of you, you have everything that you need, your knowledge, your love, your wisdom, and you will be an authentic teacher of what you teach, I would have laughed and thought they were a nutcase. Well, this is my story. I was born in the UK in a place called Bristol. I have a younger sister. My mum is still living, and she lives in Glastonbury, and she's in a nursing home. So she was a medium and a healer, and so I've come from a very spiritual background. My sister and I used to practice on the animals, watching Mum. We used to do what we thought was healing, and we obviously did, but we didn't realise then what we were really doing. I have two children, a son and a daughter, and I have two beautiful grandchildren, and I have another baby on the way, or another grandchild on the way in this coming Easter. So that's very exciting. That was the hardest part of my journey, because leaving my family behind, I've chosen to come to Australia on my own, and it's all about me learning to find my voice, to find my confidence and my power, and this has grown and grown. So I would like to share with you that I was married for 35 years, and I chose to leave that marriage. And in that period of time, I got very sick with chronic fatigue. I lost a job after being there 8 years, but it was the greatest blessing that could have happened to me. And from there, going on to do other things, I met Princess Anne, and that was one of the highlights of my life, apart from giving birth to my two children. My sister worked as a celebrant, doing baby blessings and beautiful celebrations of life for people. And she said to me that she was getting busier and would I like to come on board and work with her. So I left my job that I was in at the time, and I came fully working with her, doing everything to help arrange a funeral. We were ahead of our time. We were pioneers. We did things very different. We were called the ladies in colour as opposed to the men in black. We did a beautiful celebration of life, and we have many people say, oh, I wish you'd done my mum's funeral, or I wish you could have done my dad's, or the vicar got the name wrong. We heard so many different stories, but I loved that work, and we helped so many people, and it was a sanctuary for me at the time of my life to have a beautiful space to go to. We had a corner shop, we did all sorts of alternate things there, so we were a very digressed funeral business. In 2007, I met a friend who does sound work, and she was part of doing a sound seminar in Hawaii, and she said to me, why don't you come? And I went, and it was an absolute fantastic time. I had 3 weeks in Hawaii. We swam with dolphins. I learnt so much more about sound than I ever had any idea about. Hawaii really calls me big time. I'd like to go back to Hawaii at some point. I met beautiful dolphin sisters who I still connect with. And then part of my journey was then I moved down to Glastonbury, and I became a volunteer in the Chalice Well, and that was an amazing experience. I loved sitting in that energy. I met so many pilgrims and wonderful people that came from all around the world. And then I met my partner, who's now one of my best friends. I fell in love, and he used to come to the UK every year to help out at a healing festival. So he said to me about coming back to Australia to see how I got on. So from that meeting, 8 weeks later, I landed in Australia. I had a tourist visa which was for 12 months. To the shock and horror of my family, they didn't know what had hit them. but I just knew in my heart, somewhere that I needed to be. And I arrived, I can remember standing outside at the airport, and it was 7:30ish in the morning. The sun was hot, the sky was blue, and I just looked around and I felt like an alien. I felt like I'd landed on another planet. My gosh, what a journey that has been for me in my awakening. Oh my God, I thought I knew lots. But coming to Australia, I have grown in strength, in confidence, in power. I've had to look at so many issues. I didn't realise that I was looking outside of myself for love, that I looked outside of myself for everything. I never was taught to go inwardly and look and connect, really. I did it all from the outside. So now my awakening is learning to feel all the emotions that I shut down when I was younger and through my life, through a series of events. And I didn't realise in the previous workshop, one guy had said to me, "You are absolutely frozen inside, you cannot cry," and that was so true. And now I tell you, if something comes up, I can cry in 5 seconds flat. But the reason I'm sharing this story with you, because my sister shared that she was bringing a lady over from America called Joy, who works with frequencies and sound. And when she arrived in England, I spoke to her lots over Skype, and we had such a dolphin connection. So she thoroughly had a great time in England. She went back to America and we talked some more on Skype, and she said to me, "Why don't you come over on your way over?" And she said, "I'll take you to sacred sites, I'll take you to the Rainbow Serpent Mound and places like that." So anyway, I said, "Well, I'll look into it," went to the travel agents, and anyway, it was doable. And I told Joy it was all booked and I was going to spend 2 weeks with her, and she was thrilled to bits. So she said to me, "If you get this instrument," she said, "I'll teach you the voice analysis." So I said, "Oh, that sounds interesting." I didn't really know what she was talking about, even though that I knew she worked with frequencies. So she said it'll cost you over $100. They don't make them anymore. You'll get it on Amazon or one of those places. So I put the name of the instrument into the computer, and up one came, just one, and it was $20. So I emailed the guy asking him to send me a picture, because I wasn't sure if this was the right one, because it was a lot lower than she'd said. And so I rang Joy, I emailed the picture to her, I rang her, and I can still hear her words in my mouth, and she went, "Holy moly, the good Lord wants you to do this work." And I could still hear it loud and clear. So I had a little chuckle to myself. I spoke to the guy and I said to him that I was going to America, would he send it to this address? He lived in America, and he said that his wife had died and he'd sold her guitar and all her musical instruments, and he just had this tuner that he just threw in, and along I came. So I was very grateful. $20, I thought, thank you. So when I got to America, Joy she's part Cherokee, she's 6'2", long grey plaits, and I'm 5'1.5". And it was like seeing a long lost sister. It was just so amazing to see her and connect with her. And she talked about the voice and using this instrument. So she took me around to different friends. She said, "Right, do their voice." So I'd sit down with the chart and the gadgets and what have you, and I'd get them to talk, and then I'd say, "Right, this relates to this relates to your emotional, this relates to your physical." And everyone I did this with, it was spot on. I was thinking, oh my God, this is just amazing, because it's not you're not coming from a head space, it's your voice is reflecting back to you. So your voice is a mirror of your physical and emotional self. And everything, your voice box is your powerhouse. And as I've worked with Joy and grown along my pathway, I'm finding this out more and more. And if I backtrack to when my sister had a funeral business in the UK, we had to attend a business meeting. And I tell you, I was absolutely terrified. We all sat around a table and we all had to share what we'd come for and what we'd come to do. And I was sat by my sister and I'm going, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? And in the end, when it came to me, I just went, I've come to help my sister. And I was like a terrified little mouse. I just can't believe that was me. But moving on to where I am now, I'm working with the voice work, and Joy would say she would get me to practice, so she would play the note that I was weak in and I would have to tone to it. So I'd make this little sound and she'd go, open your mouth, tone. And I'm going, I am. She said, but there's nothing coming out. And I'm going, hey, and that would be, and she'd go on and on, open your mouth, there's no power. And I was thinking, oh my God. Anyway, I left America, I went to see my family in the UK, I practiced on a few friends, and then I came back to Australia and I practiced more and more and really worked on my voice, bringing some tone through. And it took a while because I had always been weak or missing those notes through any childhood issues. This causes any emotion causes a blockage and it's not coming through in your speaking voice. So I had to look at many issues that were coming up for me that I hadn't dealt with, that I hadn't looked at, that I looked outside of myself. So it was a huge wake-up call for me doing all this work. I had no idea. So as time has gone on, I went over to see Joy, I think it was the following year, and I've perfected doing the voice work much more my own now. And now I can honestly say, by doing this work, I have brought out such a strength that I didn't know was inside me, such a power, such a confidence. And this is really my message that I want to share to other people, that we do have all the keys inside of us and everybody is a mirror. Well, that took me a long time to really take that one on board. And you know, when anybody mirrored something back to me, I was either judgmental or I criticised or I could feel angry, and I didn't realise it was all my stuff coming up. And it was a gradual process. It didn't happen overnight, and I could express myself more. I could say if I didn't think things were appropriate, whereas before I wouldn't say anything, and I just kept myself quiet, but that didn't do me any favours. So with my journey of coming to Australia, that has been the biggest growth for me, the biggest wake-up call to find me, all my emotions that were stored within me, all the aches and pains, all the people that have been mirrors for me. They've all acted out a role to help me find me, to move me forward. And it took me a long time to understand this. So coming to Australia as well, to be with somebody new, in a strange place, didn't know anybody, the heat and the mozzies, and there were so many things I had to address, and I got very lonely at times. But I realised I was very lonely for myself, that aspect of me was lost. And I would walk in a shopping centre and I'd see family members together and the children, and I'd go and sit and have a wobble, and it would just come up so fast. But I know on another level that by me teaching what I teach and sharing this gift with others, that you do have all of this inside you. And it's okay that if you haven't felt when you were a child, but it's for you to bring it out now, to release it. So when I work with anybody and we have a session, I like to know their star sign, because each note relates to a star sign. So for example, I'm a Scorpio, I'm an 11/11, I love the water, and my birth colour is aqua. Hence, this is my favourite colour. I have a blue phone, a blue handbag, a blue diary. So I'm very in tune with my birth note, my colour, and that's interesting for people, because some people say, oh God, I wear it all the time. So, but another thing that I found interesting was I worked with a gentleman, and he said to me he couldn't let his girlfriend and his wife go, and we had a joke about it. So say, for example, they were a Scorpio and a Sagittarius, which is a G and a G sharp. And when I looked on his chart and I went, oh my God, I thought, wow, I can see a bigger picture now that I'd not thought about before. He was missing both of those notes. So energetically, he's pulling off of his girlfriend and his wife because he hasn't got that frequency within himself. So that to me, again, was like another awakening, was like, wow. So he went away to practice bringing those notes in stronger. And now him and his wife are on a much better level. They've sorted things out. And I could see by the notes that he worked on that his wife had come through much stronger. But he was also in his own power more because he'd found his own strength within him by bringing his tones through and looking at the emotional issues that were going on for him. So now when anybody comes, I get them to talk in a microphone for about 5 to 7 minutes. You share your story of your life, where you are now, or your vision or your mission. I write down all the notes that your voice picks up, and then I tell you any weak or missing notes, and these are the notes that are not coming through your speaking voice. It's nothing to do with singing, I'm still working on that one, but it's all about the notes that are coming through here. So when I show you and we talk about the colour and the relationship with your different family members, and if you're in harmony with each other or you're pulling off of each other, it's all about you reclaiming your own power and filling yourself up. So I've worked with people, I've done theta, sound healing, lots of different modalities, but I feel that with all the tapping and clearing of different ways, you have to vocalize it and bring those sounds through yourself. Nobody else can do that for you. So that's what happens in a session. You go away with an MP3 and you practice the tones. Now you can make a CD from it and you can practice in your car. Many people are worried about being around their family and them hearing them, and I totally understand that because I was the same a long time ago. Now I don't worry. So you can practice these anywhere, or you can sit in beautiful nature like this and close your eyes. So I take you through a little process, and then if you come to me, then I use sound instruments. Sometimes I can travel anywhere in the world doing this work, and I can bring a few little sound instruments with me to help work and clear with any deeper issues. So I've changed my website just for my name now, and I've called it soultone.com.au, and I've made everything very similar. Before I didn't have a clue and it was a bit all over the place, so now I've finely tuned that, but it's more work in progress. If anybody wants to download an MP3, they're available on my website. So the main things I would like to share with you to help yourself is if you are having a weak or wobbly moment, or you're going through something, or you're going through pain, you can try the bumblebee exercise. And you can get children, if you've got children that are hyper, they can put this in practice. And all you do is you close your eyes, and if you can cover your ears, and you just hum. So you go like this, you go, I've only done a short version, but if you do that a lot longer, and if you do it with intention, and you send it to an area of your body or where you're having pain, it's like your inner sounding, so it's your inner tone, and it's going down through your spine and through your body, and it's very powerful. And if you just sit, if something's wobbled you and you feel unsettled, or something's affected you, just sit, ground yourself, close your eyes and do this toning. You don't have to cover your ears, but by covering your ears, you'll hear your deeper sound. That's so powerful, so I'd like to share that with you. But it's just recognizing that everybody around you is a mirror and they're only reflecting back to you something within you that you haven't addressed. And also learning to breathe. So if you're doing any toning, the deeper breath that you take, the deeper the tone comes out. So now my voice goes on for a lot longer, and when we're doing toning anywhere, I'm just pleasantly surprised that my voice is going on, and I think, wow, that's me. So on this journey now, I'd like to share with you, I travel a lot, going around to different places, and I do voluntary work with a harp, helping people to bring sounds back into their vibration. I'm so passionate about this work. I have a gong, I take my gong out and that clears, oh my goodness, so many amazing things energetically from people and the surrounding. I would like to share with you, as I see it, from my experience, that we are all like a piano and we need all 12 notes to play our own beautiful tune. And whether you are a mum, a musician, an actor, a public speaker, you know, even a child, most people are weak or missing notes that are not coming through the speaking voice. So once you've got all these notes inside of you, and this is still work in progress for me, I mean, I'm finding my voice more and more, deeper issues are coming up for me that I'm clearing more and more, and it's just like, things are happening so fast for me now, I can just about pause for breath before something else comes up. But I'm embracing everything because this is freeing me up, this is helping me to be who I truly am. And so I feel it's my mission to empower other people to find their voice. Whether you think you've got a voice or no, it's about bringing your own strength through, your own power. So if you've got issues going on, with a partner or a husband or low self-esteem, this is all about you bringing your notes through and bringing your own power through. And I can only say to you, the greatest gift I gave to myself by coming to Australia, going through so many different issues, the highs and lows I've experienced here, the wonderful people I've met, I have grown and grown, and I've worked with so many people, and I've witnessed miracles. And I tell you what, I watch some people, when I see their issue come up and they just cry or sob, it just touches me on such a deep soul level. So I know this is where I'm meant to be at this moment in time, is my base, and the hardest part is still I miss my family very much. But I'm following my truth and my passion, and all I can say to you is, yes, I've been brave. I didn't think I was brave, but so many people say to me, you're so brave, I wish I could do that. But all I can say is I had to step out of a comfort zone to find myself, and that's been the greatest awakening for me. Thank you.